Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Superpower Review. As always, I am your host, Kevin Vidinia, and we're bringing you another venomous episode today. As we all know, Wednesday is New Comic Book Day, and Venom issue 150 came out, and this is pretty big for Venom fans. And for this special venomous episode, I wanted to bring my good friend that I follow on Instagram, Joseph Reed. Joseph, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No problem. How's things all the way in Maryland?
Nice and rainy, as usual.
Nice and rainy? Yeah, it's raining here, too. I feel like I moved to Seattle all of a sudden. I don't know. I'm getting pretty sad over here. So, as we know, Joe, Venom 150 came out. What are your thoughts on Venom 150?
Well, first off, I'm really excited that they changed the interior artist to Tradd Moore, I believe his name is.
Yes, agreed. Tradd Moore,
yes.
Yep.
I feel like such a noob for saying I believe his name is, but I'm really excited to see him actually draw the Venom ever since he did the variant cover a few months back.
Yep.
I've just been super excited. So this book is just, I've been waiting for this, I feel like, for a very long time.
This book was really good, yeah. This book was really good.
I think they did pretty good with it. They set like a dark, kind of brutal tone to it.
And we're going to show you viewers on how dark it gets, because we're going to break down this comic book together, and and as we go along, we're going to review. But as my friend here, Joe, said, artist is done by Tradd Moore. The cover is done by Geraldo Sandoval. I hope I said that right. It's hard to say some of these artists' names. This is the book stand, the regular cover that we got. So Joe, I know you got a couple of variant covers. I have to see them. My favorite one was the Gabriel Dell'Otto one, which I could not get my hands on, but I know you got it and I want to see it.
Well, in that case, I might be able to get you one in the future. But yeah, this is a bad mamma jamma right here, man.
That thing is beautiful.
See it.
That thing is gnarly. That thing is sick.
And the good thing about it is it's not a pre-order, so anybody that missed out on the pre-orders, you know, you probably get lucky at a shop or whatever.
My shop did not have that one.
This one's definitely a beauty. It's a beast. Now, this one right here, we were discussing this earlier, is by far the least favorite cover, but
yeah, that one's
I'm either all in or not at all, so.
You don't take a character like Eddie Brock Venom, okay, and you don't do stuff like that with it. Sorry.
just don't. I mean, I know he's Scotty Young and all, but my lord. Now this is by far my favorite out of all of them.
Which one is that one again? I'm sorry.
This is the Adam Kubert 1 in 100. I don't know if you guys can see past the glare.
Yeah, we can.
This is by far my favorite, and I have the Mike Perkins on special order. That would have to be my top favorite of all of these covers, as well as a few other covers. I forget exactly who did it, but there's a sketch color splash and a sketch color splash version of this. So guys, check the internet, see if you can find one, man. That would have to be my third, but it's the Adam Kubert, the Dell'Otto, and then the Splash variant regular cover.
Yeah, Dell'Otto is definitely my favorite. I wish I could have gotten my hands on this one, but this is the Geraldo Sandoval one. Let's go through the cover real quick, just real quick. So obviously we got Venom, Eddie Brock here on the cover, and we see a bunch of webbing going on, and we see a bunch of Marvel characters stuck in the webbing. We got Spider-Man in the webbing. We have a Miles Morales Spider-Man hand, I believe, right? And we have an X-23 hand in there, and I don't know whose hand this is. I think that's I want to say it's Nova.
I think it's Nova.
I think it's Nova as well. So pretty cool cover, and I feel like this cover is telling me Venom is here to in triumph of the Marvel universe and comic books right now. So he's just on top of them, like, yeah, I'm owning this. But let's open up the comic book. Okay, so we have our first page here, and we have a quote here from Joseph Conrad. It was really pretty deep. It says, "It had whispered to him things about himself which he did not know, and the whisper had proved irresistibly fascinating. It echoed loudly within him because he was hollow at the core. It was written that I should be loyal to the nightmare of my choice," which is pretty dark. I think yeah, you know, I feel like as everything with the things we love in life, you know, it does have a darkness to it. But already, great artist. Yeah,
sets right off bat.
And it says right here, this is a love story. So, Joe, to me, okay, this was pretty much like an old couple. Okay, they broke up. Okay, they had something bad. Okay, that they had to break up. They had to find themselves, and then they rejoiced. So I feel like that this comic book was nothing but a love story.
It essentially was, if you really think about it, and it was also interesting to show that as they were separated, they have both changed in huge ways than what we're all normal to the normal Venom and Eddie Brock bond.
Right. So, and now if we turn the page, we get this, what to me is classic 90s nostalgia artwork for me. Like this, I wish we could get more stuff like this, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. That's absolutely.
And I hope we see more stuff like this.
I agree. Tradmore, I don't know if he's sticking with the actual series for too long, but
no, he's not. He is not. We're not going to get too much of Tradmore. So pretty much we see Eddie Brock. He's given us a little bit of his past. You know, we see him being married, a good paying job, and but he also, you know, Eddie Brock was going to commit suicide until the symbiote found him, and you know, he just says, you know, it's a powerful strength, and it just consumes me. Just the writing here alone is really good.
It's a really well put together story. I've seen a few people have negative reviews on it, but I mean, it's classic Venom if you ask me. It's dark, it's gritty.
It's what the fans wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This is so. It's just like you said. It's classic Venom. I mean, even the artwork is classic Venom. It's just really good. If we can get another close up on that real quick. Nice. You know, I would even love to see these Carnage comic books like this Carnage we see here on this page.
I agree.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, he actually put like quite a few symbiotes in there, and he nailed it, man.
He nailed it. He nailed it. This is grade A 90s nostalgia, but I hope that this is not what Venom or Marvel is banking on, is nostalgic art.
Well, it's hard to say, really. I think they were just kind of giving everybody a little taste of what everybody's been wanting for years, and like you said, he's not sticking with it, so I guess they were just kind of just giving everybody a little taste.
Yeah, I wonder why he's not sticking with it, but I wish he was.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love hard to pronounce his name. You know, the actual cover artist. He's a very good artist, but just something about Tradmore's art is just so different and so unique from everything else you see.
It is really good. It is really good. And if we turn, so pretty much the story is the symbiote wakes up Eddie Brock to go out in the streets to pretty much parole the streets, and then we get this this awesome panel right here. I absolutely love this panel. This is the panel that it screams Amazing Spider-Man, the original cartoon in the 90s. Yeah,
and it has that feel where Peter would just be restless at night. It's like, let's just go for a swing.
Let's just go for a swing. Yeah, let's. I don't know. The art is great. So he's swinging around, and then he picks up on some robbers, And I don't know about you, Joe, but these robbers look like they're dressed up as Batman. I don't know, like Batman called and he wants his armor suit back from.
Dark Knight. They were a little interesting looking, and I did like how right away that they mentioned they were non-lethal, and I kind of like how the whole situation went because, like I said, it brought that brutalness back to at least the Venom series for me. It's been a while since I've seen any real gritty nastiness. I mean, Agent Venom was great.
Yeah.
The Venom Space Knight was, and we'll just leave it at that. But it's been a very long time. I feel like since Matt Gargan that we've seen Venom, like, you know what I mean, kind of cross the line. And that poor Dark Knight ripoff guy, he caught it.
He caught it. Yeah. We see it here. He caught it.
Yeah.
They get brutalized by Venom. More artwork here, real quick. Looks good. So yeah, pretty much there was a robbing going on, and Eddie Brock Venom pretty much takes it upon himself. So there's a battle here all the time here, Joe. There's a constant battle between Eddie and the symbiote.
Yep.
So who would you say won in this battle? Was it Eddie Brock who won in this battle, or would you say it was the symbiote?
And now that's the interesting thing, really, because it's been so long since he focused strictly on Eddie, and Eddie's had a long, like, past of being kind of schizophrenic and crazy and all that. So who knows, really? I thought the way they did it kind of left it to who knows what happened.
Right.
Later on in the book, as you all know, we kind of see what happened.
Yeah.
So who knows, really?
Who knows? So pretty much, Venom goes crazy. He actually gives these guys too much of a beating, and that's not what Eddie Brock wants.
Right.
He doesn't want that. This is not. He says right here that thieves do not pretty much deserve the beating I just gave him, and this is not what we want. And then the symbiote asks him, well, what do you want? So it's that same, again, that love story. Well, they're trying to figure out each other and who wants what. What does the symbiote want, and what do you think Eddie Brock wants?
Me personally, I think Eddie Brock does want to be, the typical hero, but we can't ignore the past of Eddie Brock.
No.
We can't ignore it. It's in there. And then the symbiote itself has always kind of had like a evil type of, I don't know, entity to it.
Right.
So I think he's just pretty much, just like I said, classic Venom. He's back to the battling and talking to himself and trying to figure out what, us and we want. So
right, us.
I think it's kind of like right now a mixture of, because I remember at one point the symbiote itself wanted to be a hero.
Right.
And then now that we got these two back and we've seen, the brutal beating he just put on those guys, and then the ending of the comic, like you were saying, it's really hard to tell, like, who's leading the relationship with these two.
Right. Who's pulling more? It's a huge tug of war kind of game here. So going on through the comic, Eddie Brock just puts a pretty bad beating on these robbers. He goes to the church where he finds the symbiote suit, where they stay connected. We have these goons that he ends up shooing off, and then he meets a priest.
Yep.
The priest said some pretty empowered words and really good advice. Pretty much saying if Eddie Brock says something about being in a relationship, and then he's doing things that he doesn't want to do, but the priest says, well, if you're being told something to do and you're not really and if you don't want to, then it's not really love. Something like that. It's not the exact words, but it's something like that.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. He has to leave. More great artwork here by Tradd Moore. I love that little spider that we get here. And then we go off. We run into the Scorpion. They get into a scuffle. This part here where he gets the symbiote suit going on. This is so morbid, but I love it. It's so dark, but I love it. The symbiote's coming out of his mouth and out of his eyes.
I thought that was one of the best little panels.
It was the best panel. It was like Evil Dead, right?
I've seen it come out like that one. That was pretty interesting. It was like a new take of how the symbiote takes over.
Yeah, I really like that. That was. It reminded me a lot of Evil Dead. If you've ever watched the classic Evil Dead movies,
yeah, it's some horror movie stuff.
Yeah, it was really good. So him and Scorpion get into a scuffle. I want to just go through this real quick, and there's a part where Brock is badly hurt by the Scorpion. The symbiote takes him back to the church. Eddie Brock wakes up, and he finds that the priest that he had good words with is dead and murdered, and pretty much asks like the symbiote, what did you do and why did you do it? So, and then we're left with that, and we're left with the next issue for 151.
I seriously kind of feel like, once again, going back to who's at fault here, just with the fact that he was, I guess, unconscious, and this took him over, it's tapping subconsciously into his mind, and we're all well aware Eddie Brock's an extremely angry guy. So, kind of like the priest was saying, like, maybe, I don't know, it could be that Brock is still twisted on the inside. The symbiote itself has been through all kinds, so it's pretty much twisted too. It's almost like they're bad for each other, They are. They're bad for each other, but yet so good. Yeah. They're bad for each other, but we love it. Yep. It's definitely one of the most interesting books, at least Venom's put out in a while. I'm just excited to see where it goes, honestly.
So that is the question. Where does it unravel from here? And then we have other mini stories in the comic. We have 10 minutes left, so we're not really going to get into it. Buy the comic, read it for yourself. It's great. I think what's happening here is that naturally Eddie Brock is angry and a little crazy, and I think he's a little more sane now, and he doesn't want to do these bad things. But the symbiote is trying to grab control of him again and make him tick.
That, and also maybe because of all the stuff that symbiote's been through, they kind of made it apparent that it's kind of angry.
Yeah.
So, put the two together, and it's just a recipe for disaster, but one awesome comic book at the same time.
So, out of a rating, Joe, what would you give Venom 150?
I'd give it a solid, seriously, 8.5, 8.5.
8.5. That's really good. Yeah, I would have to. I would agree.
It's like not, it's not like world changing, but it's definitely world starting, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm definitely interested to read and collect this now.
That was perfect. What you just said was perfect.
Through the Space Knight series, I've collected them. I got the variants. Like I said, I'm a diehard. It's a curse. But I wasn't enjoying any of the story, and it was just rather... It just didn't feel like Venom. It was like they were trying to create a different character of a Venom type. I don't know what they were trying to do, but this right here, especially this little scene we were talking about,
yes,
that is what I want to see in Venom.
I love that panel.
Gritty, nasty, and brutal.
Yes.
I don't want this no mouth, no tongue. So, like I said, this whole book just got me interested to read again, and I've honestly been losing a lot of interest in books lately. So it's refreshing to be like back into it.
Agreed. And I think right now, to be quite honest, this is the only new Marvel comic I'm picking up now. Yeah, because everything else I'm just all set with.
Yeah, actually, I'm actually kind of interested back in the Old Man Logan storyline again. It kind of trailed off there, and now we got this whole I don't know where the little card went, but the whole Maestro thing going on. But we have Mike Deodato, which is drawing it, and him alone just catches my attention, and it seems like they're taking it back to that Wolverine, like, just, I don't know how to explain it. The whole monsters thing threw me off, and I kind of trailed off.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up at all.
Yeah, I got a few of them and kind of trailed off, but the newer stuff kind of makes me want to check into it. But the new Venom for sure is a book that I will definitely be getting.
Very good, very good. So I would have to say the verdict for 150 is, like you said perfectly, that this comic is a great start for new things. Okay, Trad Moore's art is great. I love the artwork, the going back into that 90s feel. I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 1990, and growing up in the 90s was the best time for me. And you know, so when I look at comic books and I see that kind of artwork with the comic books I grew up with, that's nostalgic for me, and that takes me to a good place.
I agree, man. The whole book was just a total joy. I didn't really find too much wrong with it. And like you were saying, the whole mini stories at the end, for people that may not know, they finally show how Flash loses the symbiote. And that alone kind of made me happy, because I've been wondering that all through the series that's been going on now. Like, they just kind of jumped into this Lee Price guy.
That second story was good. And then the third story, I was actually pretty excited too, because in the third story, we brought writers David Michelini back. And I can't remember the artist's name. I'm sorry?
What was the old...
Ron Lim.
The flashback thing.
Yeah. He actually goes into a mall, and it was very classic David Michelini writing, like that whole scene where he uses his web to cover the guy's face and suffocates him. That's classic. And, you know, that's you saw that all the time in the ASM 300s. So that was really good. The whole comic is really good. I really like it. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that the comic definitely benefits from having two protagonists instead of one. So, you know, it's, again, that constant battle between the symbiote and Eddie Brock. The story has to unravel, and I totally agree with your grading of an 8.5. It definitely deserves that.
It's definitely a good book.
Now, I kind of want to use that panel that you and I love so much of of that symbiote taking over him.
The nightmare.
Yeah, I gotta find it. So that panel, that panel we love of the symbiote taking over him, coming out of his mouth and out of his eyes like that. I'm going to use this as a segue. I hope we see this in October 2018 for the new Venom movie.
Oh yeah, you know, man, I'm holding all judgments on this, because this is like the second time he'll be on a big screen, Venom.
Yeah.
And this is my all-time favorite, the only reason I even collect and read comics. So I'm like very worried about it. Tom Hardy is a great actor, but he made a horrible Bane. And I understand it was different directors, different, you know. All I know is there's a rated R. So I'm kind of holding on to hope, but I'm literally waiting to see a trailer and how Venom pertains on screen, or how he looks. But if they were able to do some stuff like that with this whole, you know, our little favorite scene here, if they can incorporate that on screen,
that'd be cool.
I think I'll be pretty happy.
Take my money.
Take all my money. Probably be the first time I watch a movie over and over and over at the theater.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll cut out that panel and send it to Sony and say, please do this. Please. For me and for everybody else, please do this.
You're guaranteed to sell ticket sales. I have a feeling they might, with the success of Deadpool with an R rating, and then Logan with its R rating, I'm just kind of reserving judgments, man, because part of me wants to be like, no, this is messed up, they're going to mess it up, blah, blah. But the other part of me is kind of like, well, wait a minute, this is going to be rated R, so we might actually get something out of this.
We might.
Like I said, Tom Hardy, right? Yeah. He's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
I don't have any problem with him. I think he kind of fits the role. You know, he might be short in person, but on a big screen, they're going to make him look, you know, he'll look the part. So I'm definitely excited about it, and it's just, they're playing with my heart, man. Why? Don't mess this movie up.
Don't do it. Cause
millions of people will be very unhappy.
There will be many people that would be very, very unhappy. So we're down to our couple of minutes. So we're going to start wrapping up the show. But if you guys want to follow Joseph Reed, you can find him at Old Man Venom on Instagram. He has a lot of cool stuff there. I totally recommend going to see his page. He posts a lot of great comic book stuff, very cool stuff. And I noticed recently that when you've been posting comic book stuff, you're pretty much putting everything into detail, artists and the story, and kudos to that.
Key moments of the story. I originally started my Instagram, like, in all seriousness, as a checklist for whenever I'm out at random shops and I see something. It's like, do I have this? Instead of sitting there thinking really hard, I just pull it up and look at it. And it kind of just turned into what it turned into. And now, yes, like you said, I'm starting to, like, explain. And I posted a lot of older Venom books, and I didn't really explain the story much. Just, you know, gave credit to the artist and all that stuff. And I'm kind of debating, like, almost going back and reposting it and just making it kind of like a Venom encyclopedia. But it was mainly built and set up so I could just have a checklist.
Very cool.
Yeah, man.
So remember, find Joseph Reed on Old Man Venom on Instagram. Joseph, I want to say thank you for being on the show today. You were a pleasure of having on the show. It was great. It was a great show, and I want to thank you for being on today.
Hey, man, thanks for the opportunity. This is pretty fun. This is new for me, so it was definitely cool.
We're going to have you back. The next Venom issue that comes out, if we review it, or maybe, okay, great idea, we can have you and Joshua Cardona on.
Hey, I'm down, man.
Ooh.
We can just have a whole symbiote discussion.
Ooh.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. And then, so that's going to wrap up for the show for today. You can always find me on Instagram at KarateKevin67. Yes, I do martial arts. Comics is my second love. Martial arts is my first love, but you can find me there, KarateKevin67. If you would like to be a potential guest on Superpower Review, you can email me at superpowerreview9@gmail.com. I would love to have you as a guest. Any content you would like to share that I would like to have a show on, bring it to me. We can plan it, and then we can go on from there. So I want to thank everybody for watching this show. Please, if you like this show, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, comment some feedback, and that's going to do it for today. So I want to thank you guys, and I'll see you real soon.